I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear. And I'ma make sure they know what my name is. I just wanna end up famous in
I'm so
their
serious.
heart.
Probably why they be so damn curious. They furious. Easy got these ladies on some silly shit. Now what the dilly is, I'm going all out. Hey, I'm the talk of the town while y'all just saw a mouth. Here's a story about my quest to be rich. I'm like Beyonce and Kelly on some Destiny shit. Mr. 6 Mile, look me up, I'm some with a dream. Got my city like an addict, guess it's some with a fiend. For my team, anything less is uncivilized. Surprise, I'm seeing this world through clear eyes. And haters only made me more inspired to bless. On the clock right now, what the hell is the next? Like that feeling in your chest when you're ready to leave. Like that memory you had, you just couldn't believe. And we always got a little ammunition for y'all, cause we remember when they wouldn't even listen at all.
Listen here, I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear. And I'ma make sure they know my name is. Wanna end up famous in there.
In 97 on Gunston and 6 Measy, the streets made a natural born hustler. Believe me, drop real with it. That was my first EP. Grind harder than granted, but made it look easy. Take it to the top, that was the plan. Now I'm known worldwide, from Detroit to Japan. 14 years span, fuck hot nigga, I'm scorching. I done got the fame, now I want the fortune. 6 albums deep, yes, I grind harder. But I know there's Eno Brown, the D is my Carter. I've been hood rich from dropping bombs. Now I want white man rich stocks and bonds. Want my ice cream and cake on the golden plate. Trying to make bread to have my great grandkids straight. Yes sir, I got my vision clear. Fast lane switching gears. Make sure you dig it, yeah. Never will I live in fear.
Listen here, I can't go another year.
And welcome to episode 22 of the Jackson Report. Another great episode. It's always a good thing. Got my producer next to me because today we got to speak on this storm that's going on.
Snowy Austin, snowy Texas. Can you scoot over a little bit?
You know
Not
what?
much room here.
I've scooted over. And the thing, see, here's the thing. We may get a lot of flack for this episode, but truth be told, we get a lot of flack from being transplants from the north in Austin until something like this winter storm happens.
Yeah.
And my thing is, here's just a few quick tips for my Texans if y'all watching this episode. When you see ice, the first thing you do is not slam on your brakes. Second thing you do is not be doing 3 trying to go downhill. That is the ultimate way for your insurance premium to go up, kind of like the dude in the Rubicon on my way to work earlier this morning. So I got to share this with y'all because I was on my way to work this morning. And the roads, honestly, aren't that bad. The roads aren't as bad as they were, 2 days ago before the snowfall actually happened.
Not even as bad as last night.
Exactly. Hey, I'm being careful down there. Whoever that is in the comments. Oh, Money Girl Bree, I'm being careful down here. It's not me that I'm worried about or the guy next to me. It's, dare I say, the true-born Texans that I'm worried about. Like, I can respect the fact that you've never seen snow. But here's a little tidbit. It kind of snowed my first year here, and it was ice on the roads and everything. It probably wasn't as bad as it is now. But my thing is, for a state to be so rich in resources, where's the snowplow budget? Where's the salt truck budget? At least have
DeWitt.
one on
No, they don't
standby.
have shit because it never happens.
I understand it never happens, but guess what? What's the old saying? Never say never.
Yeah, but it's that's not realistic. They have no infrastructure here because it never snows here ever, and if it does, it's an
Random.
inch. I mean, when it snowed here 4 years ago, when I moved here, it snowed. People were driving really slow. There was no real issues, and it was basically melted within a couple hours by the
Yeah.
next morning.
Yeah.
This is snow that we used to get
Up north.
Yeah, and I'm from Dayton, Ohio. We used to get snow like this up in Dayton, and people knew how to drive up there. And there were salt trucks and snow plows.
Yeah.
And it would be taken care of by the next day. I walked outside 2 nights ago. Excuse me. I walked outside 2 nights ago.
Right.
And there was a blanket over everything. And normally at 3 a.m, there'd be snow plows and shit running through. So that by the morning people could drive. There's none of that.
It wasn't. And then see, my thing is this: they're unprepared, yet they feel like they prepared with sand trucks. And
With what?
sand trucks. They dump sand everywhere. That's what they've been putting on these roads. And my thing is, working at the railroad, we come to learn that sand, it's like a quick fix for right then. Because in the wee
They're putting
hours,
sand on the roads?
yes, that's
Charlie?
what
I'm not really finding
Where did you hear
anything
that?
about that.
that's what they're putting everywhere.
Where'd you hear that?
I saw it for myself.
You saw them
I-
putting sand on the roads?
Mind you, I live off 35. Instead of salt trucks, there's trucks going by spraying sand on all of the roads. If you drive on the Congress Bridge or the South First Bridge this morning, it was brown sand everywhere.
Weird.
Exactly. So you put sand, and anybody that knows, sand does nothing but freezes up and it hardens up, and it's basically like pouring gravel on top of the ice. So you got spin outs. You got people.
I've been driving all over the place. I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, because if you look at it, the areas where the ice is kind of melted and it's then turned into the street, it was sand there first, and it just so happened that the temperature warmed up a little bit today, and I guess what they banking on is the warm up that's supposed to be coming this weekend to melt everything. But in the meantime, in between time,
I hope it stays frozen until Thursday
we getting hit
so
again
that I
tonight.
can FaceTime my son and make a snowman with him.
We getting hit again tonight.
I have very selfish reasons
Oh
for
yeah,
why I want this to be
it's
prolonged.
It's crazy.
Hey, I will tell you this, Dewitt. My
Yeah.
fucking house,
Uh-huh.
I've had power this entire time. There's a bunch of people who do not have power.
Hey, I have too. I mean, I
You've had
feel
power?
bad. Yeah, I feel bad for the people who haven't had power, but I have, and it's crazy because we're facing national criticism because
Dude,
of that.
it's people haven't had power for a day. When I was growing up, we had a fucking tornado windstorm that knocked out the power for 3 weeks where I'm from.
You know what I said? I said,
And it still wasn't as bad as this. I mean,
Exactly.
for real, seriously, this is pathetic. These Texans, I like Texas a lot, and I think for the most part they're pretty badass people. They take care of their shit. But there's
Those
this
keys to the armor.
snowfall one time, and everybody shits a brick, and there's 50 cars lined up outside McDonald's or at Taco Bell. There's people in line out the door at every gas station that's open. Half the gas stations aren't even open. I mean, for a state that has all these big ass trucks, where are the people with fucking with off-road tires? I am one of the only people I've seen driving around town like I own this motherfucker.
Dude.
I'm driving 60, just like sliding right by people, because you know how it is when you're driving on ice and on snow. You don't necessarily need to drive slow. In fact, you said earlier that if you're driving slow downhill and somebody else starts sliding, you're going to cause an accident, because
Exactly.
it's hesitation. It's
Exactly.
that weak defensive driving. You need to have aggressive defensive driving.
Exactly.
And I've been driving all over the place. Just start sliding. I just position my truck the right way. I'll slide right through that little gap.
exactly. Dude,
And you know what? If the people in Texas don't know how to drive in the snow, then guess what they should probably not do? Drive in the fucking snow.
exactly.
They should stay the fuck home.
My thing is this: if you know it's something you're not used to, that's just like me. I'm not used to rejection. So if a
Wait,
girl,
look at this. The beer can's green.
oh, that's dope.
It's invisible.
It's invisible. I need an invisible beer can. Why I didn't get a goddamn beer can? But anyway,
You want me to get you a beer?
sure, we can.
Hey, Cody, can you bring a beer up here?
Somebody bring that beer. Oh, sorry, y'all. Today's show, I said we was gonna have fun. It's gonna be fun because
So Charlie's got some stuff lined up.
Yep, I've got stories all about the weather.
There's a bunch of so look, in Austin right now, I'll help you preface this, because we didn't really have time to update you on how we were going to do the show today.
yeah, in Austin, it's been a lot of crazy shit happening.
Get a beer for him.
Yeah, it's been so much crazy shit. Look, on my way to work, a dude in a Rubicon, which is built for off-road driving, meaning it has 4-wheel drive, and See, the problem I'm finding in Austin is Austin don't have a lot of Austinites don't have all weather tires. Their tires
what
are
I'm
built for
okay.
summer.
So that's what I was kind of getting at was that when I've been driving around, the tires I have on my truck are fucking huge, and that was just the way I bought it. I didn't even pick those out. But when I replaced my tires, I said, "Fuck it, I'll just get."
He
the
gave
same
me a
thing.
Lone Star.
Thanks, man. Here.
Thank you.
This beer ain't half bad actually. You want to try it?
What is
It's not bad. It's like a lime salt beer. I'm not really sure what it is.
I don't know.
Avada,
What it's a Avada. We can't see it because it's invisible. But if you look, it's green and lean and mean.
Yeah, I'll read it.
It says Vamonos. Oh, it's called Vamonos.
All right. Where's
Means
Danny
bad.
Martinez at? Danny, explain to it. Oh, Vamonos means let's go.
Yeah, Vamonos like, let's go. The beer is called Let's Go.
Let's
This
go.
is called Lone Star.
So to preface this whole situation that's happening in Austin right now. So there was a snowstorm 2 days ago. We got 6 inches of snow roughly. I mean, I don't know. Charlie, are you gonna pull
Yeah.
any of this stuff up?
6 inches.
We got 6 inches of snow,
So
ice-covered roads.
right, and the roads, they, like I was saying, nobody plowed anything. There's no infrastructure set in place. There's no salt trucks. There's nothing, and people don't even have snow shovels. They're not shoveling their driveways, which gave me an idea. I'm gonna go around with this. I got a flamethrower from my buddy. I'm gonna go around to everybody's house and knock on their door and say, "Hey, we will clean off your driveway with this flamethrower for $20," and then we're just gonna film it and make a little video of it.
Make a little dough.
So the issue here is that not only it's a multi-pronged issue. Not only do they not have infrastructure set up to deal with the snow and to deal with black ice specifically, because that's what was fucking everybody up.
Yeah,
the
the
first
black
day
ice.
this happened, people were crashing left and right. It was hilarious.
I was riding past watching spin outs, and I was watching
Yeah.
people doing 3, and then they car get to
You ever see
spinning.
those little rice rods? Those little Asian dudes driving fucking Subarus, and they
Wait,
fucking
wait.
what? They drive these little Subarus that are all souped up to go 180 miles an hour, and when the roads are dry and clear, it's great. But these motherfuckers are trying to drive in the snow, and these people are so fucking dumb.
And they're
they think
spinning out.
that the way to get out of the snow is by hitting the gas.
And that's the craziest thing in the world to do. I literally 4 times today on the campus.
And they slam their brakes too.
Yeah.
They drive slow. They do all 3 things you should not do: drive slow, slam your
Slam their
brakes, and hit the gas.
Exactly. And
It's
the
all
thing-
panic. It's all people spazzing out and panicking.
I literally.
We're also in Austin. Sorry, I keep cutting you off, but we're also in Austin, and I wonder what it's like out in the country.
Oh,
I bet you it's actually not as bad because a lot of those people, they drive off road all the time.
Exactly.
And driving in mud, not nearly the same as driving on ice, but it's similar to driving in snow.
Yeah, it is.
So I bet it's not as bad.
But you know what? You know what I was honestly thinking about last night when I was looking at all the power outages, and I started thinking about how slippery the streets is. I feel for the people that live in Westlake, because most of them live down a hill or on top of a hill,
That's a good point.
and it's like you live near the water. Like,
Well,
how
Charlie, you're
My folks are in Westlake.
what are they saying?
what are they saying?
They have no Wi-Fi and no service for their phones. But
Uh-huh.
they have power. At least my folks do.
They got
so
power.
they're just hanging out.
So what is
Yeah.
the drive? Well, they're probably not driving.
So real quick though, before we get further on into this, we didn't really explain very well what we're talking about. So there was a snowstorm in Austin, and it was at least 6 inches of snow. And not only that, but the city was saying that there was an excessive amount of electricity use,
So
so
they're
they were
gonna
doing
do
controlled
rolling
rolling blackouts.
That was
And
an
what
epic
happened
fail.
was they started doing it, and then the energy conductor or engineer or whoever is on the electric grid lost control of the electric grid.
and they
And
shorted
now
out.
all the people whose power that they turned off has
Can't
stayed
get
off.
it back on.
They can't get it back on. Another problem that's happening here is that people weren't prepared. Like I was saying, like HEB. There's food lines out of HEB. It looks like fucking Cuba during their
People are
communist
running around
regime.
like it's the apocalypse. Like, listen,
And there's also issues with people's pipes freezing because they don't know how to handle the freezing weather. Because the pipes in Texas are made of a different material than the pipes up in the Northeast that are built to withstand freezing temperatures.
Yeah.
I was even dripping my pipes, and my cold water pipe froze last night. I had to put a hot towel around it. And then what you do is you leave it on there for a little bit, and then once it starts getting cold, then you take it off.
yeah,
I passed out on my couch. I forgot to take it off, so I woke up and there was a frozen towel around my pipes. That being said, we got I put another one on there, and it's fine now. I fixed it, but when you do that though, you're supposed to keep the faucet open.
Oh, you got power out there in Elgin, Leo?
You're supposed to keep the faucet open so that the pressure doesn't build up and burst the pipes. And there was a Central Texas apartment complex where like all the pipes burst, and there's water fucking like there was a friend of mine said that her buddy has water coming through his fucking ceiling because there's a flood in this apartment. So not only is it freezing, they have water coming through the ceiling. The electricity is not on for half the fucking people here. Maybe not half, but like, it's just a mess, dude.
This is really it's really not a good look for a state that swears it can defect from the union and be its own country. This is really, to me, it's not a good look. For one, you got women and children freezing in their homes because you voluntarily cut their power off and somebody somewhere dropped the ball and can't seem to get it back on. And then you have, apparently, there's a $20 billion fund for emergencies. Why isn't it? Here's the thing. If you know you don't have salt trucks, borrow some from a neighbor. I'm quite sure Arkansas or Oklahoma got a spare few salt trucks they can deploy down here. Now, what I did find strange, I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody said the National Guard got deployed out because this was considered a statewide emergency. And my thing was, what the hell are they going to come and do? Slide like the rest of us? Because if there's nothing put in place, so now you got sliding Humvees and tanks and stuff.
So, in defense of the actual state of Texas, I mean, it does take time to bring salt trucks and materials and supplies from other states. But in prosecution of the state of Texas, if they knew there was going to be a fucking snowstorm.
Because they've been knowing it for over a week now.
Yeah, they should have. Something should have been set in place. I have not been outside of Austin. I don't know what it's like outside of Austin. I'm sure that Austin's worse than most other places because, unfortunately, we have an incompetent city council. So
yeah,
I would not be surprised if other states that got hit with the snow other cities, I'm sorry, that got hit with the snow are doing better. But look, we have Adler and we have
Abbott.
No, I'm talking about in Austin. We have Adler. And we have Garza, and we had Flanagan. Now we have Mackenzie Kelly. I mean, she's a friend of mine. I like her, but a lot of the city council are a bunch of people who, I mean, dude, you've seen the dilapidation of the city over the past 4 years.
Yeah,
they enacted that homeless camping thing.
Yeah,
and that fucked everything up.
And
now they're
trying to house them, and Williamson County is like going against it. Like, no, because we want them in Central Texas. Y'all be bothered with them. We don't want them out here with us. It pretty much is how that's going.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Austin City Council, an example of their incompetence was that they enacted this camping ordinance. They amended the camping ordinance so that they would allow homeless people to camp wherever they want. And what happened was it took all the homeless people from all the other surrounding cities.
And they came to Austin.
Yeah, and they're not going to leave anymore because they know this is a place where they can get one over on the system. And I mean, I'm not going to blame the homeless people for doing it. They're just doing what they need to do to survive. But our city council is just fucking, Adler's corrupt. Our mayor is super corrupt. And the fucking city council is, I would say most of them are incompetent. I don't know all of them, but I've interviewed the mayor personally. He's a fucking...
This week, the Jackson Report is very, 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 very informative and controversial to me because people don't like the truth.
Let me ask you this. Have you, since you've lived here, we've lived here the same amount of time.
Yeah.
4.5 years?
Exactly.
Maybe you've lived here a little bit longer than me?
Yeah. What's up, Danny?
What's up? Hey, shh. What is one example of the Austin City Council successfully implementing a policy that you can think of over the past 5 years?
The fact that it's taken me so long to think of one, what I can't say because honestly, here's what I looked at:
gentrification, bad.
That's horrible. The fact that they
property taxes, Prop A, up, bad.
That's horrible.
Homeless ordinance, bad.
Horrible.
The handling of this, bad. I mean, they've almost done. They're incompetent.
They got a lot
either
of
that or
strikes
they're corrupt.
against it. Danny, call the line then. They got
Yeah,
a lot
call
of
in.
strikes against it. Call in, Danny.
I don't understand why anybody would ever still support Adler. I think he's the most hated. I mean, dude, even their fucking response to the coronavirus was ridiculous.
Man, listen, you didn't see the status I put up?
But what?
Texas shut down faster over 26-degree weather than it did over a global pandemic. And it's the truth. Like, you got, if you want segregationbydesign.com. Okay, Danny. The thing of it is like this. If they wanted people to stay in the house for coronavirus, post some ice on the roads. That would have shut the whole state down. Like, just
They shouldn't have closed down at all. I don't think they should have closed down for Corona.
You don't think they should have?
No. All it did was destroy all the small businesses.
Yeah, now that is true.
It's horrible. They didn't handle it well at all. And anybody who thinks
They closed
they were
down long
supposed to
enough for
give
the small
stimulus money to
business.
the small businesses when they closed them down, you haven't been paying attention if you think that. The government shuts things down and they create problems only they can solve, and then they tell you they're going to solve them, and then they don't solve them. They destroyed all the small businesses, a lot of them, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I can name a number of businesses off the top of my head. Mugshots.
Ty, how are you?
Ty, how are you?
It's a couple
That
of
place over on Barton Springs. Remember that they had that outdoor area?
Yeah.
What was that restaurant? It's Tumble 22 now. It used to be
Magnolia Cafe.
Magnolia Cafe.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
dude, the city council of Austin.
I
fucked
knew
this
when
city up real bad.
when we went over there, I was like, dang, I've been here before, but it wasn't this.
Austin echoes this. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That place is good though. Tumble
Yeah.
22 is good. Maybe it was good Magnolia's shut down because that place is the shit. But the only place I see that is like that would echo the same political sentiment of Austin City Council is probably a state like California. Like Gavin Newsom has basically destroyed California.
Yeah, he talking about
They shut down 19 wineries, and guess whose winery was still open?
his.
Huh, of course.
Exactly. Now he talking about what's the reason to kill small businesses, because a lot of
Centralized corporate power.
Exactly.
Corporations lobby the government so that they can control laws and create laws that are in their own interest. It's all about
Exactly.
money.
And if you think about it, far as even in Texas, if you want to just use Austin for example, a lot of us Austinites, I guess after 5 years, I'm somewhat officially an Austinite, but a lot of people in Austin frequent the small businesses more than they do the name brand businesses.
I absolutely do. The only big business I ever go to regularly is HEB.
Yeah.
And I guess I go to Gold's Gym too, but and gas. Those are like
HEB, maybe Walmart.
I'm
As far as like food and restaurants,
it's all small business.
It's all small business. Like
there's
I
no
mean,
point in going anywhere else, dude. Austin has really good food.
I don't go to Torchy's. I go to Tyson's. I mean, if you think about
do
it,
like
or I go to
Torchy's.
Las Trancas. Torchy's to me.
I mix it up, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
go. I patronize small businesses. Red Rose,
Oh yeah,
Palazzo.
that's not small businesses. Yeah.
Are those chains?
No, they're not chains.
They're small businesses.
My producer has put a lot of females through college. He's paid their tuition. Because ain't that the old myth? I'm doing this to pay my tuition. So he's paid a lot of tuition over the years.
I know there's some strippers downstairs. We could bring them on and ask them.
Hey, call him upstairs. Let's talk about
I just yelled at him and told him to be quiet. I don't know
it.
if
Hey,
that's-
ladies, you can talk now. We need you on the show. But seriously, this whole weather thing.
Can you look up if Red Rose is a chain?
It,
for real?
it is a chain, but it's different colors. You got red, you got yellow.
Hey,
Because it is the sister bar to the Yellow Rose, I thought.
I have no idea.
They advertise it as Austin's adult downtown nightclub.
The Red Rose.
I got some of that potato stuck in my tooth.
And the Yellow Rose.
I'm seeing a Red Rose Gentlemen's Club in Florida.
Oh, well.
No, there is a ton of red roses and yellow roses all throughout the country. I just don't know if they're all connected. I don't
Yeah.
know if they're chained, you could say.
So it was leaked from the China lab. We're not talking about Corona or none of that. We're talking about this weather and how people are tearing up their cars and raising their
Well,
insurance
look,
premium.
hold on real quick
For no reason.
anecdote on that.
Yeah.
Here's an example of why I know that, well, at least I would assume that a lot of these mayors and public officials and governors know that the Corona thing is not as big of a deal as what it really is, and it's kind of a scam. Is that, for example, Gavin Newsom
Mm-hmm.
was caught multiple times out and about doing things without a mask on. He said no big gatherings, and he was caught at a fucking a food thing.
Adler was too.
And Adler was caught down in Cabo, man. Like
exactly.
these guys do not take this thing seriously. And if they don't take it seriously, then neither should you.
And the whole
it means
thing
it's
of
probably
it
a fucking scam.
My thing is, if the coronavirus was all this deadly, even when they were showing the government holding their proceedings, none of them had on masks until
they get on camera.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. It's a scam.
If it
That's
was
why
just
there was no we never should have shut any of this shit down. It was stupid. And I pretty much
they killed small
I pretty
business.
much realized that after they said 2 weeks to slow the spread. I mean, I've never been in a fucking pandemic. How the hell are we supposed to know?
Right.
But after they said, "Oh, it's only gonna be for 2 weeks," and then after that they extended it by a fucking month or something, I immediately thought,
okay, Danny, that's a bit conspiracy theorist there.
No, that's exactly why China did it.
I can understand.
100% correct. China's making moves. China owns Mitch McConnell. They own Swalwell. They own Harrison Biden. They own a bunch of the Romney. They own a bunch of the mainstream Republicans and the establishment Democrats. China is literally it's like to use this term. It's an information war.
Yeah,
and I hate using that because Alex Jones has been like really highly scrutinized, and he's been right about a lot of stuff, and he's been wrong about a lot of stuff. But Danny's absolutely right.
Yeah, he. Now I did see where China is trying to get the world to go over to digital currency as opposed to the U.S. dollar. So that whole cryptocurrency thing.
Well, crypto is not necessarily Chinese.
I know.
Yeah, Danny, call into the show, dude.
Call into the show, bro.
No, look, there was an example I think I could use back in. You remember Gaddafi?
Yeah.
So Gaddafi was
him dirty too.
Yeah, and the reason that they did was because he was trying to create a new currency that was based off of petrol.
Yeah.
So they killed him.
They took his ass out.
Did you see how he died too?
Man, they did him dirty.
It was gnarly.
Yeah.
I don't think we could show that on YouTube.
No,
Probably not.
No, we would get flagged, banned.
Like they did the same thing to Saddam Hussein.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
necessarily a saint, but also kept peace in Iraq
Yeah.
and in a number of Middle Eastern countries. But then he tried to invade somewhere, and the Bushes didn't like that or whatever.
They don't like it. Anytime a country tries to outwit America or put America in its place, they got to go. The leader of that country has to go.
It's because they have a fucking empire, and they're trying to turn it global.
Exactly.
Which is weird because, like, the United States is using a lot of tactics that the Chinese Communist Party uses.
Exactly. And it's right under our very noses.
So
and people
we're going to have a
going along
social
with it.
credit score soon.
Yeah.
We're going to have a social credit score soon, like China has, where they judge you based off of whether or not you agree with what the government is doing, and they can raise it or lower it.
Yeah.
And they have, cameras on every corner. Everybody has to wear, people wear masks when they're not even a fucking pandemic out there.
Exactly.
You remember the swine flu?
Yeah.
That wasn't a big deal.
No, it wasn't.
Why did nobody freak out about that?
You're getting a call.
And it's Daniel.
All right.
Here you go, Chuck. Danny,
Just-
you're on the air. Danny.
Yeah. He's got to.
All right, Danny, you are live.
Look. Hold on. Let me lower this radio because I can hear you in the backdrop, man.
Just turn off the volume, the audio for the live stream, and just talk to us straight up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Danny.
got you.
What's happening,
got you.
man?
So what I'm trying to say is the fact that in reference that I have links I've been following the stock market lately, and I'm just very on it and just reading everything that's going on. And I mean, there's so much shit really going on that's crazy. Not even like the regular public even knows, but it was reported that Beijing is exploring whether it can hurt U.S. defense contractors by limiting the export of rare earth minerals that are crucial for the manufacture of Lockheed Martin, which they're on the stock market as LMT, for the F-35s and other sophisticated weaponry, according to the FT. The Ministry of Industry and Information Technology has proposed draft controls on the production and export of rare earth minerals from China, which controls about 80% of global supply. Industry executives say that government officials have even asked them how badly companies in the U.S. and Europe, including defense contractors, would be affected if China restricted the export. So the backdrop to the story, is that the decision follows the deteriorating ties between the United States and China. What started off as a trade war has now morphed into a technology war and at times possibly a currency war. Obviously,
yeah, that's the end
currency
game.
War.
That's the end game. China is trying to be. China is basically.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I'm like three more sentences. So the latest move suggests that rare earths may be the next front, or could be used as leverage in some of those battles. The Biden administration has indicated that it would maintain pressure on China. In parentheses, there's no quick list on tariffs, but it's going to take a more multilateral approach. China's foreign ministry also said last year that it would also sanction Lockheed, Boeing, and other companies from selling to Taiwan for self-defense.
Right on.
Yeah, the Biden administration is not going to do shit.
No, I don't think they will.
No, fuck no. They're a bunch of losers. Plus, the kid is compromised. Hunter Biden has been fucking Chinese spies and losing laptops. The guy's a fucking moron. They know everything about us. Look. There's no quick solution to this. But one thing that is important is that we need to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. And that's something that Trump and I don't know if Sanders was really hard pressed on that, but Sanders was very about a national.
They really wanted. Yeah. They really wanted to bring back. I mean, a lot of jobs back to the United States, and even it was going to probably raise some of our prices. But
dude, yeah, exactly. But it maintains our security long term. So, like for example, Dewitt's from Detroit, dude. And that was a town that blew up on manufacturing.
Yes, manufacturing cars. But once they started exporting everything and cars started,
people lose their jobs, the town goes to shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the value of anything that is the values go down. I mean, it's a whole economic fucking structure that is falling apart because of the system we have set in place.
Exactly.
We're giving all this goddamn money to fucking other countries. I mean,
man,
we still never got our stimulus. Where's Uncle Joe with our stimulus money?
Where's Uncle Joe with our stimulus money? He sent 1.4 to Israel.
Hey, did y'all hear this one? So listen up. So you know, back in what was it, March, April, we received our first stimulus check, which was about $1,200.
Yeah.
If we, whoever would have invested that and never touched it till this day in Bitcoin, it would be worth $8,000 today because of how much Bitcoin has raised in price since then. If you would have invested $1,200 a year ago, it would have been worth $8,000 right now. I'm just saying that a lot of people are going to do that with this next stimulus.
What's the value of Bitcoin at right now? Almost $50,000. I mean,
exactly.
I had a friend who invested in Bitcoin when it was at 65 cents. He put $1,200 into it.
Bro,
damn,
he got
rich.
He got rich.
He's
$49,426.
Dude, I remember when coronavirus hit, and it was like just sitting. It was going like from 8,000 to 10,000, 8,000, 10,000, just dancing around, and then all of a sudden it hit down to like about 3,000. And I remember.
You want to know what's going to drive Bitcoin up? Yeah, you know what's going to drive Bitcoin up because it's being reported that Elon Musk just put $1.5 billion into Bitcoin.
Yeah, because he's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
And he's also bucking the system.
He is. He turned the system up right now.
So, in reference to that, if somebody was to argue that, I actually did some research onto the back end of that, is the fact that although that PayPal right now, although that all these big companies, PayPal, Apple, that are all considering and taking Bitcoin as payment, does not mean that they are fully going long on Bitcoin itself. So what they're doing is taking Bitcoin and automatically transferring that into currency, which is not even affecting them at all.
It's gone.
You know what I mean?
Now, the fact that there's a trend of companies accepting Bitcoin gives off the perception that they believe in Bitcoin long term, which lends it credibility, which is going to boost the stock.
I mean, obviously, but I mean, right now it's definitely not a mainstream market. So I don't know. Well, we shall see. I remember when the price even went up to 19,000, and I was like, you know what? Let me buy in. Let me buy in. And
Were you buying
wasn't
pieces of
really.
a coin?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the best way to do it. They even say in order for you to keep investing is don't even look at the market, man. Just put in like a savings account. Put in 50 here, 100 here, well, whatever you can. You know, if you can do it weekly, bi-weekly, if you can do it monthly. As long as you're putting something in, you're going to come out on top, no matter what.
Well, let me ask you this, Danny. As far as this whole winter storm, being that you're from Texas,
Right?
what is your thoughts on how Texas is handling it?
It's sad, man. It's really depressing in reference to the fact that I mean, they had warnings. It's like they had warnings back in I think 2011. They were given recommendations by uh, some I think some entity did like an audit on them and just gave them recommendations on what they can do for the infrastructure in reference when it gets cold weather once again and keeping the generators from going out and being frozen. And I really doubt that they even took those precautions necessary to even go check uh,
Like,
before storm hit. Although they were saying, "Oh yeah, a week ago that they went and they were checking all circuits and whatnot," but they were not prepared for this, man. And unfortunately, like I've said, Texas is built for summers; it's not built for winters.
okay, and now I got something that you could probably, you and Gary, as well as myself, because I've been thinking about this all week, and since today's show is kind of like just an open forum type show today, with talking about the weather and the currency and all of this. Here's the thing, and somebody in me was talking about this when it comes to the females, and of course, Gary, you're kind of passionate about this. Why is it that when a guy, honestly, if you're paying your child support, like we just had this conversation yesterday, and you're paying your child support, right? Why does the female get pissed off if she try to come at you like, oh, you this and that, and you say, but I pay it though? When she going off about child support, and you like, but I pay it though.
Yeah, I pay my child support.
Why is it they get pissed because you do? You see what I mean? Like I've had instances where a female try to be going off, and it's like, and that's why you on child support now. And you like, but I pay it though. And for some reason, that one statement drive them through the roof and make
I just
them
don't
even
like
mad.
how I'm on child support, and I still somehow am not on my son's birth certificate, so I don't have any rights, and I don't get to see him.
Now see,
How does that make any sense?
See, here's the thing, because I need some females as well as dudes because of the simple fact. Here's my thing. If you paying it right, in the courts, if you went to court and pressed the issue like she did, it would be all kind of excuses from her end on why. She would try to come up with all kind of excuses.
Well,
But
it doesn't matter because I record everything,
exactly.
and
See?
and I don't know what's gonna happen when we go to court. I don't understand what her fucking deal is, man.
No, you know what?
I have a really bad situation with my son, though. Unfortunately,
You know what makes me upset about that is the courts, when they get involved, it's almost like automatically they always try to make the dad seem like he's just this filthy. Oh, you just this, that.
Yeah.
And even if you got receipts, everything to back up everything, they're considered gifts. So it's almost like friends of the court are friends of the woman.
It's a little bit more messy than that, but yeah, it's the child support system is obviously designed to benefit the female, the mother, and but here's the thing, man. I'm not like a big God person, big religion person, but if I guess I sort of believe in some sort of universal karmic reality or something like that. And more often than not, the dads that I know, like my dad got full custody of my half sister because the mom was
A complete
degenerate, basically.
You want to know what I think?
And I think that at the end of the day,
basically,
time to benefit.
I think, can you turn that down?
Yeah.
I can't hear myself think.
Turn you down?
Turn Danny down.
You know
There's something
what-
going on in the background. I can't hear.
You know what I think about the child support?
Well, let me finish real quick. What I was going to say is that the the dads that I know who are good fathers. My
Mhm.
dad is a good father to my little sister, much better than her mom.
Right.
And I have a number of friends who, they're on child support. We're on child support. Cedric's an example. I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but
Right.
he's a great father.
Yeah.
And he got full custody. My dad
Right.
got full custody. I have some other friends whose baby mamas are really bad mothers, really. And they got full custody. So I think if you just work through it, no matter what system you're in, if you do the right thing and you continue to do the right thing and keep your head up and do what's best for your son or your daughter,
Right.
I think that it ends up in the best scenario. And if the best scenario is me having full custody of my son, then I hope I get full custody of my son. If the best scenario is that we have some sort of split custody and that's really what's best for him,
then you'll be off.
then I'll be fine with that. I want my son to have a good life, dude.
Yeah,
That's all I care about.
You know what I think. In all honesty, you know what I think. In situations,
50-50 is good.
in situations like yours,
Turn Danny back up.
in situations like yours, here's just my thing. And I've really been thinking about this. I thought about this long and hard. In situations like yours, where you're doing what you're supposed to do, right? And the woman is using that child as a pawn, right?
It's terrible.
Here's how I feel. If that guy is paying child support, when do the courts start making it a level playing field? And it's like, okay, if he paying child support, this money is going to go into an account for this kid, and the kid can't get to it until he's 18. So it's just building up for the kid. Now, if the woman is trying to use, because the majority of the time, women use the system and end up making guys pay child support because they getting food stamps, they getting assistance and all of that, right? So here's how I feel about it. If a guy is paying child support, put that money into a fund until the child gets 18, right? Because he's with you, especially if she's that type of woman that's like, oh, no, you're not going to see my son because you're this, that, right?
Right. Yeah, that's verbatim what my
Put the
son's
money-
mom says.
put the
She
money-
doesn't. You know, a mother is a bad mom when she says my son instead of our son.
Exactly.
She says that all the time.
So you
She'll
know
say,
what?
"You're not going to talk to my boy like that. You're not going to talk to my boy."
So you know what?
More
You
than
know what
once
I
a week
think.
for 20
You know what I
minutes.
think. Put the money into a
Oh,
fund.
you're about to get some feedback.
Put
By
the
the
money-
way, I'm
put
about
the
to
money-
let somebody cut in right now.
Put the money. Hold up. Don't overtalk me. Hear me out. Put the money in a fund for the child that the child can't get to until he's old enough to he can take care of his own money. Because that way you won't have lashes getting done, nails getting done
Right.
when it's supposed to be for the child. Now, on the other
Yeah,
hand,
every time I see my son's mom, she's got new shoes, new
and on
coat,
the other
all that
hand,
shit.
on the other hand,
And she lives with her rich millionaire parents
now
too.
listen,
It's crazy.
on the other hand, if you on assistance as a woman, you getting food stamps, you getting all of that for the child, right? Because 9 times out of 10, they make us pay that back. That's why we paying child support, right?
Essentially.
If you're on assistance, guess what? The money is going into a fund for the child, and we're going to let you be on assistance for oh so many years, but after the amount of years, you got to pay that back once you get on your feet. I guarantee you it'll straighten up the whole system.
So-
you won't have women using kids as pawns no more. They'll actually use kids and let the father see them because of the simple fact a lot of females use the child as like a toy. You can't see my son. You're not going to see my son. But if a lot of dudes became assholes, like, okay, you want to keep saying it's your son? All right, fine. I'm going to let it be your son. I'm going to just pay my child support. I'm not going to spend time with the child. Then that makes you what? A deadbeat, right?
Well, yeah, that'd be
He's an
shitty.
absentee father. But my, not our. So I feel like to take the toxicness out of these females that use children as pawns. What you mean I can't overtalk the callers? Yes, I can, because the callers are going to try to overtalk me and not let me make my point. And I already know who the callers are that have one-track minds. So yes, I can overtalk.
I
the
love
callers.
how.
My show.
Yeah, it's DeWitt's show. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Exactly. So here's the thing. Here's my thing. I feel like this. You do that, it would cut down on all of the bullshit when a female uses a child for a pawn instead of it letting me. Listen, the courts wasn't there when y'all laid down and made this child, so why should the courts tell y'all how to raise it? I've been a firm believer of that, and I pay child support for some children that ain't even fucking mine. So that's a point I'm passionate about. Now, if females really want to be real about it, the majority of them do use children as pawns. They do when it comes to the
In
child
my
support thing.
experience, I guess you're right. It's really unfortunate.
It is. It's very unfortunate.
That's horrible.
And
Dan-
now
Danny
I want
hung
the
up, by the
feedback
way.
from the caller.
Now he's ready for feedback.
No,
Danny hung up.
Yeah, he hung up.
They hung up. They got mad.
Well, I don't know what was going on. I kept hearing something in the background, like somebody was like yelling or something, and I couldn't
Yeah,
hear
that was
myself.
the thing. I didn't.
Well, that's why I told Charlie to turn the volume down because I couldn't hear myself
Hey,
think.
Danny, call back. I'm ready for feedback, but I didn't want no shouting match.
Well, look,
Back and forth.
so Dewitt, you were talking about how there's put the put the money from the child support into a fund for the kid that he can get when he's 18 or something. I mean, child support is supposed to be used for the day-to-day necessities of raising a child. So
Exactly.
I disagree with that. I mean, that doesn't really
But
make
the-
much
but
sense
the-
to me.
but-
But what I do think is that a lot of the times women take advantage of it. Men are paying a quarter of their fucking salary for the kid,
And the
then
kid's
what
not
happens
getting
is the baby mama is getting money from a sugar daddy or a boyfriend or living with their parents. I mean, like that's what my son's mom lives with her parents. She has since he was born, and I've offered to have my son live with me. I could handle it, and I've never had a fair shake in court yet because by the time we went to court and all of that, there was the corona was happening, and to be honest, man, I've heard horror stories about child support pretty much my
Exactly.
entire life, and working with the child support department that I have to work with, they have been extremely nice and very helpful, and
Exactly.
they've been. I was really happy, and to be honest, like my child support caseworkers have really helped me through this process because if they wouldn't have helped me to understand what was going on the way they did, I think I would be maybe a little bit more emotionally fucked up, dude. Because they explained to me, they're like, "Look, man, it's gonna work out, and we'll help you." Blah 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 blah. Because my son's mom doesn't give me updates on my son. I have
Right.
no idea what's going on with
And
him.
see-
And I'm
see-
still not on the birth certificate.
And that's the whole. That's the only reason that I'm speaking on it like this because okay, and I can understand a lot of females get upset, and at this point, I'm a dude that really I can't care because of the simple fact I pay the shit, so I don't care if you upset.
Dude, look,
I'm a person that pays.
Women get upset about child support all the time because when you talk about how messed up it is, it's like you're taking something that they've had for free for a long time. And when you take a little toy away from a baby,
Exactly.
the baby's gonna get mad.
So
So like
imagine-
I don't care when women get upset about child support. I laugh in their face. It's not something they even understand how to deal with because they've never had to deal with it because they're not even. It's like telling a man. That's like telling a woman how to experience their period. You know what I mean? We don't know about that shit,
Right.
so we just shut the fuck up about it because we're not ignorant and we're not going to talk about things we don't know about.
Exactly. And see, the thing of it is how many times have you heard a female say, "Oh, well, I got to see his daddy ain't gave him nothing," but they be talking about getting ready to take a trip or some shit.
Dude,
That has nothing to do with the child.
and it's all from the father's income.
Exactly. Or
Look. I'm going to make another point real quick. Baby mamas are baby mamas for a reason.
Exactly.
No man wants to keep them around because they're usually like. I should probably curtail my language here, but there's a reason that single moms are single moms. A lot of them have a similar stereotypical personality, very selfish, very sexually promiscuous, cheaters. I mean, all that kind of stuff. And it's a fact of the matter. There's also single moms who made mistakes and had horrible baby daddies, and my
that's
heart goes
true.
out to those women too. This isn't a one-sided thing.
no, it's a
But
two-sided
what is a
thing.
one-sided thing is the child support system. It screws the dad every
Exactly.
time, almost every single time.
Every single time.
It's like me saying that if you and I went to court for the same thing, you wouldn't get more fucked.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You get a slap on the wrist, I get tased and took away in handcuffs.
Actually, I might be a bad example to use. If you and
no.
Charlie went to court for the same thing,
Oh, if me and Charlie went to court for the same thing, I would just sit there and cry. Because I know I'm going. The judge would look at Charlie like, look at this face.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't do anything.
I get
know.
for whatever reason, I get the black treatment in court. I don't know why. When I was younger and I looked like a young boy, they were like, "Oh, this young white boy, let him go." Now they're like, "Yeah, beat his ass."
Whoop his ass.
Yeah, I drag him out of the car.
This nigga here. That's what I can say that on my show. I'm a guy. But
I'm a guy.
the thing of it is, I honestly do feel like, now if me and you was in the courtroom, the judge might be a little more lenient, like, yeah, that son of a bitch looked like he could have added on to it. But if me and Chuck walked in and we was on trial for the
Charlie's
same
got
crime,
that boyish white.
he do
like
Charlie just got that. I've never
he's got
done
that
anything.
Caucasian.
Yeah,
like
I've never done anything.
I never did anything wrong in my life. Please, may I have another?
Right,
You know
he
what
got
I mean?
that. He got that innocent look. Like
He's Tiny Tim.
Here's
Did you
the
see how
guy.
he was dressed up earlier? Motherfucker was wearing a scarf and a big old like bomber jacket from the 50s. He looked like Tiny Tim. I'm surprised he didn't pull out some fucking crutches and start hobbling around. Gary, could I have some more pay, please? Can you cook me dinner, Gary?
Hey, Danny, tell Rue I love her. It was
Hey, Danny, tell Rue that she's wrong.
as ever.
I probably just ruined Danny's night by saying that.
Man, you shot her off like a firecracker. No, Rue honestly gives some very valid standpoints when we talking, because we always talk after the show. And I actually had ran this topic by her, and we had our back and forth then. And I knew her comments would be explosive. That's why I said, let me finish.
Right.
Let me finish what I was saying.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to hang up, Danny, because I see you done stopped commenting and everything. Like,
Yeah, because him and his wife are probably fist fighting right now.
I'm sorry if I got you in any kind of trouble, Danny. I'm just saying, like, I spend a lot of time, I listen to everybody's standpoints. And I feel like a lot of times when it comes time for me to make my point, I get over-talked. So this day on this subject, I was really passionate about it because I see it happen to too many of my friends. Too many of my friends had these baby mamas that instead of like, okay, you're a good dude.
Working with them.
Instead of working with them, it's, you can't see my child.
Well,
you didn't send me this much.
Here's the at the end of the day, the solution isn't even what the bad thing that's happening to your friends is. It's the bad thing that's happening to their kids.
Exactly.
And all I care about, and I will deal with my baby mama's bullshit 24/7. I don't care. I just want to be around my son. I want to raise him right. I want him to have a good life.
Yeah, and that's
I
real.
really do not care. Her and I have disagreements about a lot of things, and we had a pretty rough relationship, but I don't care about that anymore. I can put it aside. I'm past it. She needs to get over it.
And see,
she
that's
needs to
the
get
thing.
past it, and we need to work together to make sure that we raise a smart, healthy, intelligent young man.
So I
don't want my son to. Yeah, I'll just.
Here's my thing. I'll say this to end that whole subject, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let bitterness stand in the way of you co-parenting, because that is the truth. A lot of times, a female will take something that's hurting her and allow that to stand in the way of allowing that dad to be a co-parent.
Hey, no,
and vice versa. You got some dudes that be mad, the bitch cheated, and if they have custody, she don't need to see my son. And it's like,
I would never do that.
And see, you're one of the very few, but it.
Yeah, well, I'm a really good father.
Right.
People say a lot of things about me.
But
I'm a hothead sometimes.
I've seen you with Lil Gary.
I can be kind of mean. Dude, when my son is around, I turn into a completely different person.
I actually like when Gary's around because we don't argue
I'm
after the
a lot
fucking
more
show
mellow,
as
dude.
much
It's
when
really,
Gary's
dude.
around.
It's also, I mean, again, this isn't about me. I need to be a man and take it on the chin and roll with the punches and deal with the stress. But the amount of stress that it puts on me not seeing my son is sometimes it's unsurmountable. I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, fucking Jesus Christ, I just want to talk to my kid.
Exactly.
And I can't, ever. She does not let me talk to my son, ever.
And see, and
Except on
that is
Thursdays
the
for
purpose.
20 minutes. And she gives him a dead cell phone. She gave my son a phone with a 3% battery on it to talk to me for 10 minutes. And then
You know what?
Yeah, I'm not talking about this. I made my son a promise.
You wasn't gonna be upset.
Yeah, I made myself a promise. I was never going to talk about this stuff on any of these shows we do, and I'm starting to dip into it. And
All right, don't dip into it.
I feel it happening more and more lately. I was dipping into it on my own show the other day,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's just getting to me, man. I really need to
Dial it back.
Well, I just need to go to court and get official custody so that there's not this like. I mean, I have to get a lawyer just to talk to my son, dude. My son's mom doesn't.
And see, that's what, see, the point of me bringing it up was because I know a few people in that be kind of going through that same situation. And I could see if the people were assholes or absentee fathers or stuff like that. But I've literally seen you with little Gary And it's a whole different Gary. Like, I think everybody, your peers that's around you, love when little Gary's around because he brings out a whole different side of you. He brings
Yeah.
out the other side of Gary as opposed to when he's not around and we get the Gary that's like the new Sam Kinison. So it's like it's two different sides. And I say that out of like respect and everything because
Dude, look, here's what I'm hoping happens in the next 2 years, 3 years. I'm probably gonna have to work with my son's mom through the court system, and
y'all just co-parent.
and I'm hoping it's gonna be pretty rough going through the court system and handling things with a family law facilitator. But I'm hoping eventually she lets whatever she has, whatever issues she has with me, she lets it go. She moves on, and then we can actually work together. I'm hoping that can happen. I don't know how realistic that is because I don't have a lot of experience with this kind of thing, but at the end of the day, that's what I want to happen because I think that's gonna be the best thing for my son.
Exactly.
I can't predict the future, but that's my personal.
Yeah, and for all the fathers that's out there, and you do what you're supposed to do. You in your child's life. You spend that time. You pay that child support. Hats off to you because that was a topic that I brought up because I see a lot of people go through it, and I can't end my show without leaving him a jewel. I guess the jewel for Austin is stop slamming on your fucking brakes when you get to some ice. And if you know you're not used to something, don't do it. If you're not used to driving on
Don't
snow,
drive.
don't
That's-
fucking drive.
That's
It's
what we were
that
talking about
simple.
earlier.
Like,
All
it's
right.
that simple.
Hey, I got a jewel for your audience.
What's that?
All right, to all the men out there paying child support. Oh shit! Would you vote for Trump if he would have abolished child support?
Fuck yeah, I would have been. He would have got my vote twice. I would have voted for him under DeWitt, DeQuan, and Denard. Straight up. And I think every man in the world would have voted for Trump. He would have won in the landslide had he said, I'm ending child support. He would have had women paying for him because there's a few ladies that pay child support too. The whole thing of it is
few.
Very, very few. But I gotta tell y'all this. Like, seriously, in Austin, of course, we're going through something unprecedented for Texas. Y'all not used to it. But who is that?
That was my phone. Sorry.
But
Charlie, you're fired.
Charlie's damn Charlie. You made it almost to the end of the show before you fucking got fired. But I need y'all to understand this in Austin. No, we was not down in Texas because I love it in Texas. I've been here 5 years. I'm officially an Austinite, all of that. But all I'm saying is, don't have y'all nose up and be arrogant towards the transplants that came from the north because situations like that, where the snowfall happens, and then y'all IQs get exposed because y'all not used to something and y'all do everything wrong with something that y'all not used to. Everything. And then another thing is, this should be a humbling moment for every Texan around Texas because everybody swears Texas is so much better than every other state. But
it is.
I know.
Best. I've lived in 5 states. It's the best state.
This the
they
best.
Just don't know how to drive in the snow.
This the best state until it comes to an IQ test. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. No, seriously, all jokes aside, don't ban my show. Still follow it. I love y'all, Austin and Texas, but dig this. With this weather out here, slow down, take your time, be alert. For God's sakes, stop trying to text and drive, especially in the snow, because I've seen 5 different people doing that this morning on my way to work. And if you know you're not used to something and you really don't have to go nowhere, park your car. I know y'all fascinated because nobody's never seen snow down here and all of that stuff. Go outside, take a picture, make a snow angel, make your snowman and do all of that. But stop trying to fucking drive in it because y'all raising y'all insurance premiums. That's about all y'all gonna accomplish with what y'all trying to do with this.
And hire Faust Media to blowtorch your driveway with a flamethrower.
Exactly.
If you need your driveway shoveled, I'm your guy. We got a flamethrower.
His face was priceless during his shameless plug. So False Media also has false flamethrowing. How about that?
I like that. Why did I think of that?
False flamethrowing. If you want your driveway cleared in like 30 seconds.
Dude, I was testing it out earlier, and you gotta fucking, you turn it's run on propane. You turn the gas on, you set the light, it lights the the end of the spout, and then you spray the flames out. And I was doing it, and I was holding it down in the snow, and it took like 10 seconds just to melt like a little spot. I actually think it's going to be, it's going to cost me some money to buy these propane tanks.
Propane, you'll be burning through tanks every driveway. And
I could hook it up to a really big one. I was thinking about.
See,
and just having Charlie carry it behind me, or maybe put it in a backpack like a flamethrower. And, you know what I'm worried about? What if I go to because I'm probably gonna be targeting a lot of like the older folks who can't clean their own driveways off. So, what if I go to one of these older folks' house and they're a Vietnam vet?
Right.
And I'm out there flamethrowing their driveway. And they start getting a PTSD flashback.
Gun you down?
I see Charlie. Charlie's back out in the field. They're coming for me. And meanwhile, Charlie's name is Charlie. You know what I'm saying?
You like, hey, Charlie, grab that. They're going to son of a bitch there. And then gun the truck up. Nah. But
I stole that joke from my manager.
Oh, wow.
He made that joke earlier, and I thought it was fucking hilarious because I was literally picturing like an old Vietnam vet running outside and tackling Charlie, and I'd have to I don't know what would happen at that point. I've never fought an old man before.
You have a flamethrower, so you wouldn't have to fight him really.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna catch an old man on fire.
Burn his ass
everywhere.
up. Burn his ass up. Burn his
Jesus
ass up.
Christ.
If it's the old man or Chuck, which one you gonna pick?
Well, that's pretty much it's gonna be Charlie or a lawsuit. Charlie, I'm sorry, you gotta go.
Set me on fire so that he stops touching me.
Oh, and then we'll sue him, and then you'll finally get that pay raise you need up to minimum wage.
Shit,
Sorry.
dude, they fuck with Charlie.
That's my fault.
We
Fired.
fuck with Charlie so much. If it wasn't for Chuck, yeah, Gary.
You ready to go eat, man?
Yeah,
we got people making food for us downstairs.
Oh, we got people cooking downstairs. So
Yes, sir.
this been another episode of the Jackson Report. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Stay safe, stay warm. If your power is out, look for a shelter, look for hotels. It's been another great episode. I thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by as usual, producer guy. Good night, y'all.